initiative, the Nurture to Bloom, has been the vision of our creative executive, our wonderful mentor, our dear friend, our Auntie Esther, who I am pleased to introduce today as the moderator for our panel. Please, Miss Auntie.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Just so delighted to be here. Welcome, my distinguished guests. I'm just so happy to have you all here. Patricia, thank you. As Karen said, when I thought of this initiative, I said I'm going to get Patricia on this. And as soon as I asked, you responded yes. And then Catherine, she answered yes. Then Teresa, who I have known since the 60s when we were in Mofrotro together, and Mofrotro is 90 years this year, and she said yes. Shirley didn't have a choice. But we're here. Why are we here? And then, Aisha, are you there? She will respond. She is on Zoom. She had to be a little bit far away from us, but she says, Auntie Esther, I have to be on this, so I will be with you. So she will join us by Zoom. And then Edem, our partner, who I'll tell you about in a little bit, also will join us by Zoom. As a woman, having to take care of a family, husband, children, be available to the wider family and all that, and to society, and at the same time excel in the corporate world. One of the things that was often a joy but also a source of sorrow or sadness and pain was feeling misunderstood, feeling misconstrued, undervalued. And I've been thinking about this. I thought the qualities that we bring to society, which God gave us after he created man and realized that man was not complete without us, and therefore we needed to be here to make the world run well. Those qualities are misunderstood. But if the world understands these qualities, then it will be a better place, especially developing nations such as Ghana, which need human development, which need our human resources and talent very well developed. So we thought that when women win, society wins. And how do women win? Women are happy when they see that they've given birth or they've conceived, they've birthed, they've nurtured, and the child has grown and is on his own. And this is what we bring to work as well. And this is what this whole initiative is about. Helping society, both men and women, to appreciate the value that women bring to families, to organizations, to communities and nations. This is what the UN SDGs are also asking for. UN SDG 5, if I'm not mistaken, focuses on gender, wants to see that women or females are given their place in society. With COVID-19, the whole world has been affected, and organizations such as Invest in Africa, in partnership with MasterCard Foundation, are looking to how they support organizations to be resilient, to recover, and to restore and be strong again. And in doing this, they're focusing on women. So when they became aware of this initiative, they said, we want to partner you. So Nurture to Bloom is being delivered to you in partnership with Invest in Africa and MasterCard Foundation. We decided to do this on the platform of the Ghana Garden and Flower Movement because that is where sowing, growing, nurturing, flowering, and fruiting is explained. So that is why we're doing this first one here. But throughout the year, we will be doing other activities. In the end, our hope is to be able to reward women who nurture others to bloom, and to reward people who allow themselves to be nurtured to bloom and fruit for the benefit of society. People who, when they are being nurtured, do not see women as troublesome, as people who fifi nyamam, who are too finicky, and who nag too much and all that. So this is Nurture to Bloom, and we welcome all of you. To begin, we will ask each of our guests here to just give a 2-minute introduction of how they feel about this initiative, and as women, what do they think about what this offers to society? Where have you come from? What have you done, etc.? It's okay.
Thank you very much, Esther. My name is Catherine Krobeduse, and I started Eden Tree Limited 1997. That's about 24 years ago. And by the way, I said yes, Esther, because I don't think anyone can say no to you, you know. No, because you nurture and you bring goodness out of people. So we can't say no. You're a mother. Okay. I came to Ghana from the UK, and looking back, I do not regret moving home to Ghana, because I have come to impart. I started a business, and it has imparted on people, Ghanaians, and if I had remained in the UK, I don't think that would have happened. I would have just have been another statistic. So we started Eden Tree, and yes, we plant, we grow food, and food is very important. We can't live without food. And I'm a woman, and I believe that we have an important place in society. In fact, in the beginning, God realized that Adam could not manage by himself, so he added a woman. We are the crown. We are the important ones. We give birth. We nurture. In fact, we start the training from the time that we give birth, because that's when the baby starts learning, by breastfeeding, by taking care of that baby. When that baby is not well, you can easily tell that there's something wrong. You know, so it's part of us, it's built in us. And when we bring it to the workplace, as Esther mentioned, it creates success. I am happy that Eden Tree is 24 years old, which means that, thank God, I've been doing something right, so we are still relevant. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. My name is Shirley Tonikum. Like we heard, I was identified, nurtured in the Stratcomm Africa pots. I grew my stem and plants in Newmont Ghana Gold Limited. After 8 years, I had to move on, and I'm glad I'm blooming in the most respected energy business in Ghana. That is Vivo Energy Ghana, Shell Line CC. Nurture to bloom. Of course, I couldn't say no to the woman who nurtured me. And one thing about my story is that I remember during my interview at Stratcomm, I had just finished my national service. And I saw the job advert. I went for the interview. They were like, Shirley, why should we employ you? You just completed your national service. I'm the firstborn, so you could know the pressure on me at the time. I was like, if you don't employ me, where do I get the experience? And lo and behold, on the Christmas day, I got my best Christmas offer. I was called to move on to Newmont. And another story to be told, I'll bring that on board. When I had to be employed whilst I was pregnant, a woman did that for me. I mean, Nurture to Bloom, it's a good conference. To be a good platform for women to nurture women. We've all benefited in so many ways. A woman was brought forth by a woman. So why don't you also extend that help? Guide them, nurture them, identify the young people, nurture them, put them on the right path, help them to chart the right path, and success will all be ours. So I think it's a good conference, and I'm glad to be part of the Stratcomm experience.
Thank you, and good afternoon to our listeners. Thank you, Stratcomm. Thank you, Auntie Esther, for the invitation. I think when I saw the invitation on LinkedIn and I saw that we had the conversation, for me was just checking the availability in the diary, and that was it. And it's one, because I was going to meet phenomenal women, and again, I was going to have the opportunity to share a story. And I think it's so valuable to pass on what you have benefited from, the difficulties that you have been through, so that other women don't go through it. And even if they are going through it, they have comforts that somebody has also been through it before, and they can sail through. So for me, any platform where we talk about women, platforms where we talk about the youth, if it works in the diary, you will find me here. So I'm very delighted to be here. Thank you.
My name is Teresa Apau, and like Madame said, actually she didn't ask me if I was available. She informed me that I was going to be part of this program. My senior, how could I say no? I said, when? When, that was all, when? And that's it. So I'm very happy to be part of this program, because I think right from when we had Mofetru, senior saw that I was a rebel. I've always been a rebel, and I think I still, in a way, carry my Confederate flag. So with or without a cause, I'm a rebel. I came back to Ghana 5 years ago, and I was invited to join the Project Management Institute Ghana chapter board. So I served as the vice president for professional development. As professional development, you are developing careers or advising, mentoring. And it sat home for me because I was going nowhere with my career, and I was nurtured. I will, with time, talk about all that challenges and where I've been and where I've arrived at. So it kind of resonated with me that, okay, this is a program I want to be part of, to share my experience. 4 years serving as vice president at the PMI chapter, nurturing, mentoring, bringing a lot of programs, fits right into what we are doing here. How do we nurture? How do we nurture for them to bloom, to make an impact to society? We all want to make impact to society, and some of us have done it. It wasn't easy. Virginia Slim Cigarette, they have a commercial in the US said, "You've come a long way, baby." I have come a long way, baby.
Thank you very much. Aisha? Pardon? She's not on yet. Aisha is not on yet, so we will have Adam, the rep from Invest in Africa, our partners, to speak to us. Adam, why have you partnered us on this? Hey, MFA. Sorry, MFA, sorry. Are we getting MFA on? She's on, okay.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay, great. Sorry, I was actually speaking to the wind. Okay, so good afternoon to you all. I am pleased to join you today. Auntie Esther, it's a pleasure to be on the same platform with you. Madam Krobo do say
Please
it's really
turn on
great
your
seeing you
video.
again.
Emma, we want to see you. Oh, here.
Great. I hope you can see me now.
Yes.
Great. Okay. So it's really an honor to be on the same platform with you, great women. My task this afternoon really is to give a brief on what we do at Invest in Africa and how we support and nurture businesses. So first off, I want to say the theme, which is nurture to bloom, really resonates with me because I'm a lover of plants, and thanks to COVID. During the lockdown, I had the chance to revive my rooftop vegetable garden where I grow tomatoes, lettuce, cucumber, and kale using plastic containers. And so as the plants grew, I noticed one tomato plant just wouldn't grow. It remained stunted with very few leaves. So naturally, I would have just destroyed the plants and paid attention to the healthy ones, to save on water, fertilizer, and time. I, however, decided to move it to my balcony so I could pay a bit more attention and keep a closer eye on this plant. The long and short of this experience is that this plant grew just a few more leaves and remained stunted. But surprisingly, it bore some of the biggest and most numerous fruits amongst all the plants. So I really learned my lesson from that plant in the way I deal with my kids and the people I encounter along my leadership journey. So we all have great potential and we are unique. And if we accept ourselves for our uniqueness and use our experiences as women to groom, nurture, and provide opportunities for younger women, we will do phenomenal things. So on this note, I'm really happy to introduce to you Invest in Africa. We are a not-for-profit organization leveraging on our partnerships with public, donor, and private institutions such as Stratcomm Africa to provide various interventions for businesses. Our work is built around providing access to skills, markets, and finance, because these have been identified as the three core challenges that businesses in Africa face. So over the past 6 years operating in Ghana, our skills programs have supported 1,000 plus SMEs to build their competencies and ensure that they are competitive enough to work with large organizations. One of our major access to market tools is the African Partner Pool, which is a tree of businesses and large corporates encouraging B2B interactions and business deals. So through this platform, local suppliers are visible to large organizations and can provide various services to them. So currently, we have facilitated over $154 million worth of contracts through the African Partner Pool. And then finally, our network of financial institutions have supported SMEs with finance in a bid to ensure that our local businesses are ready, competitive, and are growing, and scaling. So far, we have facilitated $2 million worth of contracts. Now, our current partnership with the MasterCard Foundation seeks to ensure that more women and youth owned businesses are supported to cope with the effects of the current COVID-19 pandemic. And at no cost, is offered at no cost to participating SMEs. So through this program, more than 1,400 women businesses and youth-owned businesses are expected to benefit from our master classes, our coaching and peer-to-peer platforms, and of course, access to markets and access to finance interventions. So please know that we understand the importance of the uniqueness of each business owner. And so most of our programs are tailored towards the individual needs of businesses. From our experience working with SMEs across Africa, we have observed that women's economic equality is not only a moral issue, but is good for business as well. Companies greatly benefit from increasing employment and leadership opportunities for women, which is shown to increase organizational effectiveness and growth. So it's estimated that companies with 3 or more women in senior management score higher in all dimensions of organizational performance. So despite these findings, I mean, there still exists peculiar cultural and gender biases and gaps that act as barriers to women opening or expanding their businesses. So one way of removing these inhibitive barriers is by creating such networking and mentoring platforms as offered by this Nurture to Bloom program. So the importance of collaborating and networking is immense on business growth as it provides the opportunities for confidence building, strategic partnership, branding, and increased visibility, which are key success factors for sustaining your business and organizations as capable women. So to know more about Invest in Africa, you can kindly visit www.investinafrica.com. And on this note, I would like to say a big thank you again to Madame Esther Koba for this initiative. I would encourage young women business leaders to take the opportunities available in this program in its entirety, and you'll benefit a great deal. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Emefa. We're really, really grateful for letting us know what we can benefit from IIA and indeed the partnership with MasterCard Foundation. I'd just like to repeat Goal 5 of the Sustainable Development Goals, which is our anchor goal. Empowering women and promoting gender equality is considered to be one of the most crucial aspects to accelerating sustainable development, as we know that all the other goals depend on the achievement of gender equality. Without gender equality, the other goals will not be met. The aim is to end all forms of discrimination against women and girls by 2030. It is not only a basic human right, but it is also a mission that everyone needs to take up around the world. It's up to the women to demand their due, and up to the men to respect and acknowledge the fact that when women win, society wins. So, Nurture to Bloom is an avenue to help women to win in every sphere of life. But to be able to win, it means we have to bring society along with us. So Nurture to Bloom is not just for women. It's for men and it's for women. Women give birth to both males and females, and we're able to nurture all of them. When MFA was speaking, she said her tomato seedlings were not doing well, but there was one particular one that was not doing well at all, and she almost threw it away, but she decided not to. She kept it, she nurtured it, and she's benefiting from it. Patricia, you are chief executive of a huge multinational telecoms company with branches all over Ghana. What do you bring into the work space in relation to identifying talent, sowing the talent, and what does it mean in corporate terms?
Thank you. I tell you something. I grew up being raised by my mother, being nurtured by my mother, because my father passed quite early. And she raised us up in an environment of liberty, where you were allowed to pursue a program you wanted, not because of what she wanted. She wanted us to do what we're comfortable doing. And that is what dared me into the engineering space. Who would have thought in that time that some girl would be allowed to pursue engineering? I'm a twin, and my twin sister does social science, right? And throughout that career journey, what I realized was that people had to give me the opportunity as a woman to start my internship, to take up. When I finished my national service, I was given a job the following day. I was promoted to become, like she said, the technology director in that telecom company. And then Vodafone called me and said, we want you to come and work for us. People held my hand along the way. And as I looked through that journey, I found very few women, aside my mother in the home, I found very few women along that journey. And I feel so strongly, I feel that obligation to work through the process and make sure other women are given the opportunity. And so one of the things I did together with my colleagues when I went to Vodafone was to look out for where we were struggling the most, which was in the technology function. How were we going to get a lot of women to be interested in shaping the future? The future is going to be the technology that we use, and women didn't even want to participate. And so we set up the Women in Engineering, partnered with KNUST. We started paying the school fees for the third-year students who are going to final year to come on board. We exposed the Women in Engineering to Street Aid girls for them to see what's out there, women who do not have the privilege to have what they have. And just giving them the opportunity to come in even before they are qualified, expose them to the world of technology, the world of opportunity, and what they could do with their hands. And once they come in, it's amazing. You find people come in as engineers, but they end up doing marketing. And you don't start your bias and say you came in as an engineer, so you can't veer into marketing. Otherwise, I would not have left technology and be asked to run a commercial function before I became CEO. So for me, it's about allowing people to operate in the space that God has given them to function in, not holding them down with your own biases, but then also being very deliberate about creating the opportunity for them to get into the workspace. And once they are there, being deliberate about the investment. I have 5 women on my management team, a team of 7. And it's not by accident. I have 4, including myself, we're 5. And it's not by accident. If you don't show leadership from the top, the team and the organization will not believe it. Yes, we have a function for diversity and inclusion, but what does it say of me when I look at my management team and I can't find a woman there? So it's really about leadership, and setting the right example and allowing people to be who they want to be.
So what do you think your being a woman has contributed to this? What are the things that you do at home that you've been able to bring to the workspace?
You know, even my team tell me, how do you get this done? You know, I have 3 boys. And I add my husband 4. And
please add him. He's the first one.
And you can understand the range when I start from 17 and my last is 7. So whilst one is feeling like he can handle himself, the other one wants you to feed him his food before he goes to school. And it's really about the strength that God gives us as women. And whether we like it or not, that's how we're created. It's the uniqueness of being a woman, and women make decisions sometimes based on just the guts and their intuition, and you can't find that generally with many men. Women can multitask. Women don't just chase the profitability, they bring a lot of purpose to the way they work. Women are empathetic, you know, and so when they look at scenarios, they look at situations, they go beyond how does it benefit my business. They look at how can we make an impact in the society in which you operate. And this is not something that you would get generally. And so when I look at companies who don't promote women, companies who don't want to position women, I say it's your loss. Because what you are not getting is the strength of that woman. We're 50% of the population of Ghana. If God created us so uniquely and different, yes, you are getting the benefit of the first 50%. But what about the uniqueness that God puts in the woman? That's what you are missing as a company. And that's what, for me, we bring to the table. That's what I take to work every day. My uniqueness as a woman, my ability to multitask, my ability to think differently, my ability to create with my hands, which is what Proverbs says, my ability to do strategic thinking. Again, Proverbs talks about that. You know, I think God just made us different. See how he created us from the rib. Who else was created from a rib? You know, he made it so dramatic, so different that you would know that there's a uniqueness in that woman and you need to go for it.
So I'm hearing you say that God actually took a decision that women should be part of decision making. And
absolutely.
So why is it that from your experience, Teresa, why do you think people have difficulty accepting this? Sometimes at work, when a woman is put in a decision-making position, people always have to think, can they do it? Or is it their place? And when you're doing it, sometimes, you know what happens? You're too hard. You're looking to things too much. Tell me about it. What has been your experience?
We have a lot of mediocre men in the world, and they get away with it. We don't have mediocre women. When a woman is assertive and strong, they say you're aggressive. A man in the same position, he's a go-getter. He's all right. He gets thumbs up. They will say, oh, she's having her monthly. You know, an angry black woman. So I stayed an angry black woman for a long time. You know, because actually in my queue, I had 3 posters. One said irate. The other one said, don't ask me any question. Don't ask me to think. I was hired for my looks. And the third one says, the lack of planning on your part does not constitute an emergency of mine. So when you walk into my queue, those are the 3 posters you see. Hello, what do you want to ask me? I'm very assertive. I don't change that. But then I'm also very competitive. Mm-hmm. I was the only female with over 20 guys. They were technical guys. The only science I did was general science. And I was a technical consultant. So I didn't have a master's degree in computer science. I had to study and study twice as hard. So I earned my position so that nobody's going to tell me I have some rich uncles or rich aunts over there. I had no relatives, or this was predominantly white company. So I had to work hard and earn my stay there. You don't go to meetings and start laughing and start giggling and, you know, you do your homework before you get to that meeting so that you contribute. Women are full of excuses. I don't have any experience. I don't have any training. How else are you going to get experience if you don't try? So I try and try harder so that no man is going to put me down.
But Teresa, how would we identify? You heard MFS say, I looked at my tomatoes and one of them looked bad and I wanted to get rid of it, but I didn't. So you may find a woman, a girl, a woman, or even a man in your organization that's not trying, that's not assertive. How do you identify that seed?
Low performance doesn't measure anybody. Some of us are high performance, and I brag on it. I get it done. Some people are just wasting 27 years to retirement, so they're just ghosting. You know, so the woman or the man with low performance needs assessment. You pull them on the side. That's where the nurturing comes in. How can I help us? We need to move along. If you don't want this job, you must as well leave. But you want the job, you're always wondering if your paycheck got into your account, but then you don't get the work done. I started a book club with a chapter, with the PMI chapter. And, you know, I was doing so many programs, and I couldn't handle it. I had this young girl. She seemed like she was up and coming, and I was trusting her to take over the book club. But today, Mom, I can't get on the call. Today, this. But every time I got on the conference line, there was a guy waiting. And I found out that there was somebody with more passion for reading than I did. He would be the first one on the conference. He joined the club, and then he would be contributing. So I pulled him on and I said, Mike, can you take over the club? He said, sure. What do I need to do? I showed him what he needs to do, and he's running with the club. He's the director of the book club at the chapter.
So you identified a seed.
Yeah.
You sowed.
Yeah.
And you've nurtured, and he's running with it.
He's running with it.
Thank you very
Yes.
much. Catherine, you started an enterprise that was not, is new, still new in Ghana. You know, growing vegetables, packaging, and I've heard your story. You even took them to a store and you were told, well, put them there if they want them. How have you been able to identify the right talent and nurture them just as you've nurtured these plants to be all over the shops in Ghana?
Hello? Yeah. I did that with the skills of being a mother. You know, when you have your children, they are all not the same talent. But it doesn't mean that if one is more talented than the other, you throw the one that's less talented away. You try and recognize how to nurture them. And within my team, I know who I can push to the left, who I can push to the right, who I can push ahead. So it's recognizing those different talents and then recognizing the hurdles ahead. How do you deal with this problem? How do you deal with that problem? And also that mothering nature that I will never give up on my child. I will never give up on any challenge. We are supposed to bring solutions to problems. That's why we were created. Problems will not solve themselves by themselves. We have to solve those problems.
Thank
So
you
that's
very
why we
much.
need to-
Talking like this reminds me of my headmistress in Wesley Girls High School, Miss Garnett. Looking back, she never gave up on any of us. Some of us didn't like science. Some of us didn't like history. She would call you to her office and advise you that I see that you would make an excellent teacher. You would make an excellent doctor. You would make an excellent nurse. You'd make an excellent engineer. And so she never gave up on anybody. Just as you didn't give up on the gentleman who was always first. I mean, what is he looking for? He likes to read, and you nurtured him. Thank you very much. Shirley, have you experienced this? Tell us.
Okay, so I have been very fortunate to have women groom me and very supportive. Let me tell you, my highest paid job, I went for the interview on a Thursday. I delivered the following Thursday, a week after. How many women on an interview panel will employ such a person? Probably I wouldn't even have done that. But I had 2 women on the panel, and they were like, why not? If you sail through, you can. Lo and behold, I got a job, and they gave me 3 months to nurture, in this case, nurture my baby before I joined the company, and that is Vivo Energy Ghana. And with such thing, with that confidence reposed in me, I vowed to always go the extra mile for such a company. So when you see the Antiesta energy, when you see the action in Kote, the drive is actually from there. I mean, women have been so great to me. My human resources manager, and on this platform, I'll mention her name, Mercy Amwa. She's been so supportive. There are times I will call her. You know, as women, we all have our marital issues. We all have our issues to deal in the house. I'll call her at 2 a.m. She will pick my call. Shirley, what's the problem? Shirley, can you do this? And I mean, she's given me so many opportunities. There was a leadership role, a leadership program that came. Initially, we were supposed to select 2 people to go on the trip in London. So it was a male and a female. Then they came back and said, well, we have only 1 slot. So they had to decide. Being a functional person, not a salesperson, I was thinking they would pick the business person. But lo and behold, they selected me to go on that trip. And I'm so happy. And like I said, I have a duty to also help my fellow women. And it's happening currently where I'm working, coaching and mentoring other people. And so women have been great. And Antiesta, your story has been amazing. You showed me the path, you gave me the opportunity, and here I am. I'm still learning from you from afar.
And I'm happy to announce that Shirley picked up an award 2 weeks ago, and yesterday she picked up another one.
Oh,
She's
Thank
just
you,
picking
thank
them.
you.
But I want you to stay with you. What does it take for somebody to allow herself to be identified as a seed? You see, when you put a seed in the ground, you cover it with soil and it germinates. It must be uncomfortable under the soil. What does it take to allow yourself to be sown? Because women sow seeds.
yes. So like I said, nothing good comes on a silver platter. Women, we should allow ourselves. I must be honest and frank here. We are giving so many excuses why we cannot travel for even 1 month just to go and learn something and come back to apply. We are giving so many excuses why we cannot leave our children. I know it's very important, but there must be a balance. Let's be realistic. The only advantage men have over us is the availability that women we do not have, but we have everything. I mean, if we allow ourselves, we should sacrifice, go the extra mile to be identified. And that is what I always say about my managing director. She's somebody, she has an eye over everyone, including the security man at the gate. Yes. And she handles, there are some managers who are so much focused on the business and the functions. And communication is a function, of course, a management function. And you would expect that she'll be on the retail and the commercial and the B2Bs. But she's like, he's so passionate about communication, and anything about communication, you just say, let it go. In fact, when you allow yourself to be nurtured, I mean, why not? You just fly. So women should be willing to go the extra mile, sacrifice, spend some time, improve yourself, look at your weak points, look at your gaps, and try and fill in. There are men even around who are willing to help you. Joining the management team, at that time I was the youngest person on the team. They were using so many acronyms, B2B, B2C. I was like, wow, can I survive? One day I went to this manager. I said, please, I'm new. Can you help me? Some of the jargons you people are using, I don't know. Just spend some time with me. And I think with that, I'm now okay with the system. So women should go the extra mile, sacrifice, and they will be good to go.
So I'm hearing that you're saying be an available seed.
Yes, be an available seed.
So that you can be planted.
Sure.
Now, Catherine, you work with people of all levels. Low literate people, people who probably have not sat in classrooms. I don't like to use educated because they're educated in different things that we are illiterate in. And you're able to nurture them. You've been able to nurture them along with the company that you've grown. What does it take to do that?
It's training. Everyone, I believe, is trainable, whether you've been in the classroom or not. You just have to be streetwise. And sometimes you'll even find that those who haven't been in the classroom sometimes surprise me. They have this natural talent, and they can actually do wonders where someone who has been in the classroom lags behind. And if I see the hunger in you, because like you asked, women, we have to be hungry. You have to go for excellence. You have to train for excellence. Don't listen to that you can't do it because you're a woman. We must be hungry. When you put that seed in the ground, that seed is hungry to come out. It wants to see the light. So it's going to struggle to come out. That's what we must be and we must do. So I train my staff. I look at the qualities in you. I train you and I put you where I think you will excel. And I think that's because of the mothering nature that I bring to my work.
Thank you. Patricia, you are a technology person. You're an engineer. And I remember at some point, I think you had managed for your organization to have the fastest network or so, working with an international group. Congratulations. Engineers tend to be very hard core. I mean, they don't like to deal with the soft side of things as such, if that I could say that. But listening to you talk, I could feel a certain soft part of you. And at the same time, so how do you balance that? And as a woman, I think we're always having to do that balancing act. You know things have to be done this way. You know the quantities that are required. You know what children have to do. But at the same time, you know this child. He doesn't like to do his homework. He leaves his books at school. He's always breaking glasses or whatever. But you still need to nurture them because you see some value in them. How do you balance that? And how do you bring your being a woman to?
See why I spend a lot of time trying to get more women into engineering. We even take kids to KNUST to spend 2 weeks. We pay for them, just go experience them and come out, you know. Because I think we're missing, I keep saying, we're missing an opportunity. Engineers are problem solvers. They take science models and then look at a problem and say, people can't make calls. How do we make it happen? Somebody wants to call somebody across somebody. He needs a device. How do we get that device? They look at the problem and they solve it. We want water from a tap. How do we get it done? And they solve it.
Okay.
The thing, the difference that the woman brings is, you have to learn to stay calm. I've had situations where our network has literally shut down before. My boss was sitting on the floor, just like, he said, I had quit smoking, but because of you, I'm smoking again today because I cannot understand what's happening to this network. My regulator is calling, the government is calling, and you stay calm. You know, you have seen it all. You've seen kids. I mean, I've been to Kolebu with my kids a number of times. So I've gone to the hospital. The kid is on admission. I go and sleep in the hostel, come back, and he's not on the bed. And I think the child is dead. You know, I go to a ward. We spend times in the emergency ward. And the next baby by my child just dies. And mine is lying there alive. When you've seen a lot of things. I mean, my mother passed 2 weeks to the time I delivered my baby. This is not an experience a man would ever have. When a woman has experienced all these challenges, right, nothing shakes you again. When the network shuts down, something breaks, something happens, you bring calmness to the role. You're able to think through the scenarios and say, A, B, C, what are my options? How do I solve this? I have PTA, just like you do at home. I have PTA, I have a meeting, and then I have X. What do I do? Okay, call your husband to attend the PTA whilst you do this. You problem solve. And we bring that skill from home to work, and you take what you have, that strength of an engineer, also to your home. And I think it's a fantastic place to be. In nurturing our men, I think one of the things I have come to, nurturing our women, one of the things I have come to learn is that whether we like it or not, our men have been socialized to think that they are superior. You don't go in to challenge the status quo, you prove your worth. You go and show what God has made you into. You know, you don't go and yeah, he's not there you're not there to compete with him. You are there to take your place as the woman, as the one who brings a certain uniqueness to that role. And so this is what I expect. People are looking at you for comfort. They are looking at you for leadership. You cannot go there and behave like all the others. And for me, it's so important that women bring that uniqueness to the table. We bring it to the boardroom. We bring it to the way we are doing our design. If you look at the way products are designed, have you thought about why they always use female voices for the GPSs in our cars? Why they are shaping the brave heroes as men? Look at the Iron Mans and all those things, the toys that they do for our kids. And then they do the teacups and stuff for our children. If you are not in the place of shaping technology, you are going to have even phones that are not designed to suit the woman. We have to participate. You know, I remember the president saying, okay, women were saying, well, and he said, I need you at the decision table. I need women to start being on the political platforms and being in parliament, being at places where we're making the decisions. I keep saying, I need many more women to be in engineering so that we can change some of the things we see in our streets, some of the traffic lights that we see that have, some of the gutters that we see that have been designed. You ask yourself, who did this? I go back to Proverbs. He says that when the woman is working, when she gets wool and she wants to make something, she works willingly with her hands. It doesn't say that about the men, right? She works willingly with her hands. So when you come into the workspace as a woman, walk into that environment with the confidence of a woman, with the strength of a woman, and make a difference irrespective of the field. So I don't have to over-remind myself that I am a woman. What I tell myself is that I bring something to the table that these men don't bring. And so it will be unfortunate if I rather get into this place and my uniqueness is not shown. I try to be a man. It will be most unfortunate. The women should come in there. The women should be women when they come. Don't apologize for going on maternity leave. You cannot delegate that to the man. That's how you've been made. So you don't make excuses for it. But when you are not pregnant and you have to work hard. I hope you get my point.
Yes.
So I'm trying to position the uniqueness of a woman in engineering as something that is unique, something that is beautiful, something that shapes the future, and women must want to come into it.
Thank you. Wow. When women win, society wins. And I want to go back to school and study physics because you simplified this. It says it's about problem solving. And that's what I like to do. So how come I hated physics with a passion? I started off liking it. Then it got complicated. And then mathematics as well. But that's all problem solving. And that's what we do all the time. So Teresa, you are a project management person. And we heard Patricia talking a little while ago. You have PTA, you have a board meeting, your child is in hospital, and you manage all these things. Can you draw some similarities between that and being at the workplace as well?
I was the accidental project manager. I wanted to go to law school. I didn't have the funds. But I knew people in engineering, computer world were making a lot of money. And I wanted some of that money. So I saw a job posting and I applied for it. It was for a technical position. The only science I have in my life is general science. But I read it and I figured I could do it. So I applied for it. And I got the job. In fact, my job drew me closer to the Lord because I prayed, and I prayed so hard. Because every time I was faced with a challenge, I look up to him like, Lord, what am I going to do? You know? My first day on the job, my first day, a system crashed. And our clients were hospitals. My company developed software for hospitals. So when a system crashed, it's affecting patient care. So this one is critical. The person who logged the call asked me, do you think I should call a senior person? That was an insult to me right there. I mean, you are trying to tell me, so I'm raising the race card. I'm black, so I don't have brains. I can't do this. Why are you calling for backup? Did I tell you I can do it? So my ego was on the line. It's my first day, and if I'm going to survive this job, I better handle this. So I took my book. Of course, we went through training, and if a system crashed, there must be why the system crashed. I can't just go and fix it. I have to find out why the system crashed. So I have to run data integrity on the system. So we will be able to, and I know how to read. I'm a reader. I'm not a scientist. I don't have a computer science degree, but I read. I read Chaucer. I read Shakespeare. I know how to read to understand. So I read it and read it and read it, and I saw where the problem is. I was able to clean it out, fix it, and the system stayed up. After that, I gained so much confidence. This is what they are looking at. And back to the project management. So my manager wanted to pull me away from me after gaining my experience as a technical consultant to make me a project manager. Again, I thought it was an insult. Why do you want to make me am I a loser? My idea of project management where they smile a lot of blonde, blue-eyed girls, they're always laughing and giggling. Do I look like I'm giggling and laughing and to make me a project manager? So I asked her and I said, Anne, have I done something wrong? She said, no, you're a natural project manager. A natural project, and I said, I hate project managers. Don't make me one. She goes, no, honestly, we don't have enough project managers, and I'm trying to build that team, and I want you to be part of that team. So I want to make you a project manager. And then as I'm thinking about it, she said, I'll throw in some chump change. Hey, if you want to make me a project manager, make me a loser, and I'm making more money, why not? And I realized that, yes, I went to Mofetro. I was a natural. Putting things in its right place, getting the details, project management, scoping, requirement, communication, quality, risk. We take a lot of risk. We call it calculated risk. It gave us a competitive edge. So I realized that I'm not even working. This is me, my natural self. So putting this in place, putting something in place, either you're getting the requirements and the details, you're planning. 60% of the project management time is spent on planning. You plan and then you plan some more. If you don't plan, you fail you fail on the project. So we keep planning, and then resources. How much is this project going to cost? You factor in human resources, you factor in material resources, and the cost of the project. So we're looking at all these details. Quality. Quality is job one. You know, so you're looking at scope, you're looking at risk, you're looking at quality, you're looking at resources, you're looking at cost. So you're looking at so many things at one time. So you got to have a mind reading, you know, multitasking every which way. You know.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So Shirley, you're a young mother, and you are having to manage quite a heavy role. So how do you bring this to the workplace? Just our participants are ready with questions for us.
I am a mother of 3, and 2 boys, 1 girl. I always say I have 3 boys, because the girl is not a girl, it's a boy. Very hard with all those energy. Managing 3 girls at that management level with such a position, and it's not a big team, it's a small team, so I have to do most of the work. And at the workplace, I have 1 person supporting me, and I feel that it's not an easy thing, but I try to understand and also go the extra mile to support the little boy who supports me in the department. So for me, I think it's not an easy thing, but because of where I want to go within the organization, because of where I've envisaged myself to be, I always want to sacrifice, go the extra mile. I take on more jobs, and my boss is always like, "Shall I prefer you do this?" At times you give the work to the man and just say, "No, Shall I've given it to this guy, but I want you to still do it for me. I know I'll get it faster from you." So it's about availability, it's about the extra mile, it's about sacrificing and doing it. And you know, a woman has an eye for perfection. And we have that. We pay attention to detail, we are very meticulous, and that is what we bring to the table and what we bring to the workplace.
It's interesting that you say women have an eye for detail. I interviewed a young lady once, and I actually did the interview with my husband. And she was asked the question, "How do you feel working under a woman?" And she says, "It depends at what stage in my career." And we said, "What does that mean?" She says, "If I want somebody who will be very detailed and train me, I want to work under a woman." Men, I didn't say that. She said, "Women look at the trees, men see the forest." And we look at the trees, individual trees, because we have to take care of every child.
Exactly.
And recently what I've been saying is, leave a 1-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 5-year-old with a man at home. You will receive so many calls.
Yeah.
I saw an advert of a man who was changing the diaper of a baby, a little baby, and made so many calls to the mother, to the wife. And I thought, wow, if these guys can't take care of these little ones, why do we entrust them with such huge responsibilities?
Yeah, it's true. Because let me give an example. I've had instances where I've traveled outside the country and I have to do homework with my kids on WhatsApp. So they'll put on the video. I have that competitive spirit and I want to put that in my kids. So I was like, no, you shouldn't get it wrong. Maybe someone is getting 10/10. You should also get a 10/10. We have to look at that. Okay, so it's about women having that competitive spirit and like you said, an eye for detail. Is very necessary.
Yeah, and sometimes I remember when my kids were little, traveling and having to call them and pray with them just before they did the exam, and one of them said, "Mommy, I put your perfume on my hand and went to school with it." So it's like I was with him. There are so many things that men do, and we really appreciate them for that. But there is so much more that men can benefit from women. But the world is overlooking that. And I'm particularly happy with SDG Goal 5, which is reminding the world that the other goals cannot be met if this goal is not met. When women win, society wins. Let the woman win. Allow us to win. After all, each time we pop a baby out, whether it's a man or a woman, we have won for the world. So we want our participants now to bring in any questions that they have for our esteemed panelists here. I'm happy to inform us that we have with us Honorable Mona Quarte. So maybe you can tell us how it was like as a woman in a state organization, in government. And who's this? She's here? Oh, I see. I hear Biden won, and therefore a woman is vice president. Yay! For the first time in the US of A. A woman won in the US. The US society will win. Okay. Thank you for that information. I didn't understand the notes when it came. Okay. Thanks. So please tell us the questions.
Sure. Well, first and foremost, the chat has been, I'm going to stand behind you so that people can see. Am I on this?
Yes.
Okay. Hello. We have the chat that's been just going very engaged. We appreciate the international community for joining us. We appreciate all of you from across Ghana for joining us. And again, please, on social media, tag GGFS 2020. Our first question comes from Facebook. There's a bad perception about successful women at the top who get there and then have a bad reputation. Can you give any advice about whether or not there are characteristics of a queen bee and how to avoid them?
Patricia, would you like to take that?
You know, what usually happens is that some women who get to that level believe that they have worked so hard, they have fought to get to that role, and if they have done it, why should they help you? You should also struggle to come along, and that's that Queen Bee feeling that I worked hard, I got there, and so you should also try and come. You know, I'm not going to handhold you, and that's that Queen Bee attitude. But a lot has also changed. What you see in women today, I find women wanting to have networks. It is not strange that a woman decided to put this platform together. Women are beginning to accept the fact that you can't just leave other women to struggle like you did. It's helpful if you hold their hand. They don't have to go through that pain. They can study, they can go through the learnings. They don't have to struggle the way you struggled. So please don't be a Queen Bee. Let's be a woman that holds each other's hands.
I would want to add that we also have to be careful about perceptions. Sometimes people feel that women who have made it to the top are tough. Patricia, unfortunately, I may look at you and think you're not friendly. You will not even respond to my mail. When I contacted you on LinkedIn, I wasn't sure you would respond. But I said, oh, maybe she's busy. But then I said, no, she's a woman. She will respond. And she responded. But that's me. There are other people who may not even come near you. And also because we're so detail-oriented, we look out for good things and we point them out. And sometimes, out of love, we may do it in a manner that brushes people the wrong way.
But you see, the other thing is that, again, because we believe we have struggled to get to the top, we forget to do what some of the men do, which is build relationships. Mm-hmm. Relationship and networking are two different things. We have to spend time. The fact that you've gotten there, you've struggled, you've gotten up there, don't forget to look back. And by the time I'm leaving here, all these women are going to be like my solid friends. Oh. Because you don't know where you are going to encounter this person after this role. People are loving you for your role. Forget it. When you have left that role, people have to love you for who you are, for the personality within you. Thank you. So women should not, there's a strong perception that you are there, and that's why This morning, I actually attended a funeral for the father of one of our employees, not because I had the luxury of time, but it's important. You have to let people, you have to work on that perception. You have to recognize the fact that it exists. People write to you and they don't expect a response. They call you and they don't expect you to call, but return the call. Women have to be deliberate to remove that notion.
Thank you. That is the CEO of Vodafone Ghana. She is so human. And ladies and gentlemen, she is an engineer, technology. She engages with some nyama IT things and things that do not breathe. But she is so human. Thank you very much, Patricia.
Thank you indeed. This question comes from our Zoom platform. We actually have two of the same, so I'm going to try and collapse them. Where does self-care fit into your dedication to work? And alternatively, how do you find balance?
I'm going to let Shirley and Catherine take that.
Okay, so we need to recognize that we are human. Of course, you need to also have that self-care. The work is there, the family is there. You should, I always say I love myself. People look at my status, people look at my timelines, they're like, wow, I don't know how you're able to blend the two. One time, the next day you are on this set, the next moment you are in this region, and the next moment you are either on a walk, you are having so much fun. I said you should have time, plan your time, have your goals, have time for everything that you do. And I think that self-love is very important. You need that energy, you need that strength to go on for that extra mile. I think that you should also make, because the work is very important, it's about your health. If you don't have good health, how do you then progress? How do you then make sure that the task is done? So have a balance. You are human. There are times you break down. It's like the computer. There are times it works, it's shut down. It's like a plant. You start, you nurture it, it grows. There are times it will wither. But how do you ensure that it doesn't get to that withering stage? It's about watering and taking good care of yourself. So there should be a balance.
Yes, I believe in balance. It's very important in the sense that my me time is very early in the morning, my devotion time with God. That's my me time, and I need that. And once I've done that, I'm energized for the day. Regarding your work, you just need a balance. When I was raising my children, I was a single mother, and I had to set up this business. The way I found balance was to get a partner who would help me take care of the children. So between the two of us, you know, we did it, and it was a balance. So whilst I'm going out doing business, she's taking care of the home, making sure that the children are fed. I come home, do the homework with the children. So you find a balance, and when you find a balance, everything works.
Fantastic. We have one more question that comes to us from Zoom and a few more from Facebook. So this one is talking about the other side of the coin, being a woman in management. How do you react when other women make your life difficult and are not supportive? This is an unfortunate occurrence at times, but how do you make sure it doesn't affect you?
That's what? Say that again. Say it again.
This is about the other side of the coin. And the fact that how do you manage when other women make it difficult? It's an unfortunate occurrence at times, but how do you not let it affect you when you don't have the support of other women?
Oh, okay. So I was the other woman making somebody's life difficult. But then I matured and I changed because I had a manager who was very nurturing. And so when she made me a project manager, she kept reminding me that you are the leader. You don't have to fight all the time. You know, you look at me the wrong way and I'm picking a fight. You say something sensitive to me and I'm picking a fight. So I think it comes with maturity. And as you grow into your position as a leader, you realize that you don't have to. A book I read was called 4 Agreements. And in the 4 agreements, it said don't take it too personally. So when somebody is saying something or somebody is being ugly, is a problem they are going through. They have a right to say whatever. How you process or receive it is your right. And you choose to ignore it. You choose to take the high road. So now I've grown tough skin. I would not give another female a hard time. I would rather be nurturing and supportive.
I wanted to add something. You see, at times, it's also the woman giving the other people the tough time. There have been instances where, let me say, I wasn't even a bigger person like now, very tiny, in a role, and someone just came. I'm looking for the corporate communications manager. I'm looking for Shirley. I was like, you could see the person was lost. It was not like looking out for me. It was like, where's your manager? And this person is a woman. And so later I said, please, you're in the right place, have a seat. It was like, I'm very sorry, I didn't know. You see, there's that perception. And they think that, and even in our own setting, there are some women in the organization who think that they are older than you. You are just a small girl, you're just a young girl. Why should I succumb? Why should I take instructions from you? And they try to make your road very, very difficult. But I think that like communication, building relationship, letting them understand your role, how your role fits into them, you the woman, you the victim, overlooking all those things, supporting them with time they get along. So women themselves also make that mistake, and we try to look down on people because they are younger or we are either older than them. But it's about competency. It's not about age.
I would like to say that in nurturing plants, if you don't handle them with care, if you're pruning plants and you prune them heartlessly, they won't live for you to enjoy them. And so nurturing requires care. Nurturing requires understanding which plants like to be in the shade, which plants are indoor plants, which are outdoor plants, which can take the sun, how much water you give to. If you give a plant too much water and it doesn't like it, it will rot and it will die. If you give another plant too much sun, it will die. I recently had to move my cacti from where they were. They were not doing well. And I thought, these things ought to be in hotter sun. And I moved the plants that were there to where the cacti were. They are both doing much better. So we have to understand the temperament of the different people that we work with. And you see that as parents, when you have your first child, you nurture them, but you learn lessons from that. That is one of the things that women sometimes don't realize we're doing. When we find ourselves in decision-making positions, sometimes we may be seen as too harsh because we're having to juggle so many things, including managing the situation in which we find ourselves at the. So we need to check ourselves, and we need to be open to feedback so that we know how people see us and feel about us. It goes back to relationship building, not just networking.
This is our last question for this panel, but please, we will continue throughout the week. So again, log on to our website, give us questions, log on to our social media, hashtag GGFS2020, and we will have some of our distinguished guests to respond after the show. For this one, comes to us Facebook. This is one of our younger men who's joining. Thank you for the men. We appreciate you for being with us today. He asks, what is one thing that men can do for women to elevate them in society? What is one thing that men can do for women?
I think I'll allow our panelists, each of them, to share what they think.
I think respect. If men can respect women, not decide to put them in a cage where this is where you belong, this is what you can do, you know. Give us respect. Give us the room to bloom.
I also think that I also think that men need to understand us. As much as we think we are strong, we can do it all. We need you people along the line. We need you to understand us, understand our nature, having time for us, taking your time to explain certain things to us. You may be the sharper one, in quotes. We may not. I'm not saying we are, but we may not. But that doesn't mean we are dumb. So understanding our nature and taking your time to nurture us and letting us bloom like some people do or some managers do.
So 2 things from me. One is start from the position of she's capable and she's competent, and allow her to become incompetent if she wants to. Don't start from she can't do it and I'll see if she can come up. That's the reverse I want from the men. Start from she's capable. The second one is that accepts the fact that she's a woman. She will have her period. She will get pregnant. You cannot do both of them for her. And so accept that she's a woman. Do not expect her to be a man. It's very, very important that you work on your bias as a man. You are raised like that. It's unfortunate, it's subconscious, but please be aware of the fact that the people in the room are not all men. Thank you.
Okay. James Brown says it's a man's world. And as he says it's a man's world, he goes on to say, but the man will be nothing without the woman or girl. Look at the game of chess. The queen is the most important figure on the board, on the chess board. Yet, they don't respect the queen. I think the queen should leave the chessboard. They should remove the queen from the chessboard so that women can flourish. Because society is putting a lot of boundaries on us. Bill Cosby said nobody belongs to the pigeonhole but the pigeon. But they put us in pigeonholes. You can do this, you cannot do that. As Madam said, you know, I'm a woman, so what? I can probably do more than the man. You know, give me the opportunity, not just the education, an environment where I can flourish as a woman. So allow me to flourish. So the woman should leave the chessboard. The queen should leave the chessboard so we can have room to grow. Once we sit on the chessboard and they treat us the most important expert on the chessboard, we are not going anywhere. We are up the chessboard. We are in the boardroom, not in the kitchen. Leave the chessboard.
Thank you. I will just add one thing and then I will add one thing and then allow the panelists to give us their final words. I go back to a book that I read often called the Bible. It's a business book for me. It's a life guide. It's a guideline and all that. And I go through this book and there's nowhere in the Bible that says, women, love your husbands or love men. But it's repeated so many times. So the person who asked the question, just love us for who we are. Give us room to bloom. Don't assume who we are. And as I always say, that same book defines love in 1 Corinthians chapter 13. And if I meet a man that loves and respects me like that, submitting becomes a no-brainer because he won't even interpret submission the way the world interprets it. So that's love us, respect us, and allow us to be who we are. I'm going to allow our panelists to say their last words. There's conspiracy going on around here.
Okay. What I'd like to say is that women, I know that in society, a lot of women think that there are places in the kitchen, there are places in the house, there are places is in raising the children. Sometimes the women believe this and they are not able to move on. Please change this perception. There's nothing that a woman cannot do. There's so much. We can do the cooking, we can do the housekeeping, we can have the children, and we can do a lot more. So have faith in us. Thank you.
Yeah. So my final words will be that women, we have so many talents. There's so much we can do. I see young people who call me, who come to my office, and they're like, Shelley, I want to be like you. I said, no, you should be better than me. That's right. You should go the extra. You should be a better person than Shelley. Don't settle for where I am. I also want to go higher and higher. I think that there are so many people who want to be guided. Some are just pursuing courses their parents have forced them to be. Some went into the course themselves, and later they found out that there's little they can do. Let's identify these people. Even at the workplace, people have been put in roles that they are performing, but deep down within them, they wish they could move into other roles. Let's identify these people. Some of us who have the opportunity to be in certain leadership position, let's mentor them, as that's one thing I like about where I work. Even at the workplace, we have people who mentor. So I have somebody I mentor every day. It's a formal coaching session. Let's identify these people. And to the young ones, I want to tell you that you can do and you can achieve whatever you want to be. Determination plus effort equals success. If you are determined, you focus your mind on what you want to do, you put in all that is required, plus little effort, you can go the extra mile and achieve success. Though it may take a long time, definitely success will be ours. So please, let's be willing to sacrifice. Let's move from our comfort zone and let's go for the gold. Yes, we can. We can do it.
So mine is to the women and the men. Dear women, I think we are 50% of the population of this country. The GDP of this country is being impacted because we are not all contributing our lot. Dear men, you are not allowing the women to come to the table to bring in the contribution to the growth of this economy. And my ask is that you go back to what Proverbs said. Proverbs didn't just position a woman as a wife, but as a very strategic thinker who finds a field, she buys it, and then she plants a vineyard. Nobody just plants a vineyard to make wine for the room, you know. She's selling it to make money. This is the best resource that you can have on your team. So if you don't have a woman in your house, if you don't have a woman on your management team, I think after this program, I ask that you rethink about it, because you are missing 50% of the opportunity that God is making available to you.
I'll start mine with a quote. If I'm not for myself, then who am I? And if I'm only for myself, then what am I? If not now, then when? We are all writers. All women are writers. 24/7, 365 days, we are writers. Let's write our own stories. Let's make it a positive impact. We are the heroes of our story. Let's not die with our music still in us. Have you tried anything so daring it even scared you? Let's love ourselves, bless ourselves, embrace ourselves, forgive ourselves, value ourselves, empower ourselves, and at the end of the day, we live a fulfilled life. That's my message for all of us, to write our own story and be the hero in our story. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, this has been Nurture to Bloom. Woman sowing, nurturing, growing to bloom. And today, what has been added to it is give us room to bloom. Don't assume who we are. Allow us to be who we are. There are things that we go through that you can't go through for us. Recognize that. Allow us. Women, use relationships effectively. Women, be available. One of the things that the men use over us is that they come as available. And as soon as we appear in the workplace, we are not available. Because as soon as you mention your name or they see you. They see children, they see husband, they see cooking, they see. So in the mind of the person where you are being processed, you are not available. And then you go and make yourself unavailable. So the door gets shut. And women, in nurturing, we should remember that every plant needs water in different quantities, sunshine to different degrees. Pruning is hard. It has to be done carefully so that it doesn't hurt. I leave with you once again SDG goal number 5, gender equality. When women win, society wins. When women lose, society loses. If Ghana does not allow women to win, Ghana will not win. As we heard from one of our panelists, we are 50%. So if you're leaving out 50%, you're leaving out 50% of your development and growth. I would like to thank Invest in Africa and MasterCard Foundation for partnering us. You've partnered with the right organization, Strategic Communications Africa Limited, where we believe that communication is an essential tool for the development and prosperity of Africa. And that in this digital age, you need people who are able to work with strategic communications, not just posting content, sometimes false content. Content that has been strategically, scientifically identified, analyzed, couched, and pitched in a timely manner, in an accessible manner to the relevant stakeholders so that Africa's development will be real. Allow women to bloom, allow women to fruit, and we will all be the winners for it. I hand you over to Karen. Thank you so, so, so much, ladies. I don't want you to go. I have the key to my gate, and you are in trouble. Thank you.
And thank you. I've been given one official assignment, which is to thank our sponsors, which I will do. But before I get there, I'd be remiss if I did not thank you. I want to invite the women who work for you, the people who have put together this show, your personal assistant, your lovely mentee, your intern, and we'd like to present you with a small token of our appreciation for working with you. These flowers not only did we put together for you to enjoy the benefit of in this very moment, which you deserve, but also it's from one of the Ghana Garden and Flower Show exhibitors, Miss Araba Swanaker, who wanted to make sure that you knew between the women who work for you, the women who are your peers, the women who are the exhibitors of this show, that we couldn't do it without you. We thank you.
Thank you. And I couldn't do it without any of you. Thank you. Thank you so much, all of you. And you guys, you get a query on Monday. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. Lovely query. And this is for all of us, for women and men alike, because the men are going to let the women win, and women are going to allow themselves to win. Thank you. Thank you. God bless you all for being with us.
And part of the bouquet, this came from your sons. So the men, the men love you too.
The men, look at this. And it's in the shape of a heart.
It is.
Which they took from my garden. Thank you very, very much. Thank you.
Thank you. In closing, I'd like to, oh yes, let's put it in your hair. In closing, I'd like to again thank Invest in Africa and MasterCard Foundation, who have been the proud sponsors of this Nurture to Bloom, a strategic communications initiative. I'd also like to put up on the screen all of our sponsors for the entire Ghana Garden and Flower Show this year, 2020, being brought to you in part by Stanbic Bank, ABSA Bank, Republic Bank, the Dutch Embassy, the Israeli Embassy, our partners at POOM Netherlands, and all of our media sponsors, Joy FM, Unique FM, the Daily Dispatch, The Insight, and The Herald. We also have a few collaborators who have been so generous to us. We wish to thank AMA. We wish to thank AEMA. We also wish to thank the Mamofra Foundation, Eco-Conscious Citizens, and our brothers and sisters who are tuning in from Kenya and Nigeria as part of the Kenya Flower Festival and the Nigerian Garden and Flower Show, which is also happening this weekend. We wish to thank them. Can we roll the Stanbic Bank video, please? We wish to thank all of you as our panelists. We really, really enjoyed it, and like Madame said, we don't have to go.
If you have employees on the road, you'll know the problems that can occur with their travel spending. With cash, it's inconvenient and risky, and there's no reporting. Not to mention the foreign exchange uncertainty. That's where the Stanbic Corporate Prepaid Card can help. The Stanbic Corporate Prepaid Card offers so many advantages for company spending. It's more than a card. It's a robust corporate expense management solution that allows you to manage employee expenditure. Through Corporate Control, you'll benefit from just that, control. Corporate Control is a web-based corporate expense management platform. It provides transparency into spending and expense compliance, all available with powerful reporting. It all leads to reduced costs through less cash and FX servicing, as well as providing operational simplicity and effectiveness. The Stanbic Corporate Prepaid Card, complete expense management for your company.
Akosia, I'm awful. I have to go deposit some money at the bank and buy some things at the mall.
Okay, but deposit money at this time? Which bank is still open?
Oh, Akosia. With a Stanbic ATM, even without your debit card, you can deposit money at the ATM. And you know the ATM doesn't close. It is 24/7.
Oh, wow. That's good, oh. You know, as for me, when I close late, I have to carry the money on me home with all the risks. And sometimes even when I'm asleep and I hear mosquitoes making noise in my ears, I have to wake up and check if the money is still there.
Oh, Akosia, don't make me laugh.
I'm serious, Dede. It's not easy for me at all.
Mean cable.
Hey, Beje no kobi view.
I'm off to the mall now.